So is range anxiety starting to creep in? A little bit, yeah. Wondered if I miscalculated again for the second time in a row on one of these range tests. This can't be good. Now I don't have any red flashing battery bars. I have 0 bars, 51.9 volts. I'm still 1.8 miles from my house. Oh, duh. Tell me I didn't do it again. But I do have a backup plan if that's what I did. So the reason I'm doing a second long-range video is because I've gotten a lot of comments over the past few videos, a lot of interest in how many miles this 2024 Plus wire cruiser can get out of these 2 batteries. So one of the batteries is a 20 amp hour, the other one's a 15 amp hours. You got 35 total amp hours. So usually the way I ride this bike is fully unlocked, so I have access to all the power. The best I've been able to get out of it with my normal riding habits is 48 miles that I showed on a previous video that I posted about 6 weeks ago. I've had some comments asking for class 2 only long range test, so that's what I'm doing today. So I'm not sure which is going to last longer, me or the batteries. Right now I'm kind of hedging my bets on the batteries. So it's going to be a long ride, but it'll be a fun one. Beautiful day today. It's only 72 degrees right now. Perfect day for riding. So class 2 mode is only going to get us up to a maximum of 20 miles an hour on throttle. And anything over that, it'll be by pedal power if I can get up to 28 miles an hour. I've got a planned route that I haven't taken before. That takes me from where I live in Gilbert, Arizona, up to Tempe, where Arizona State University is located, to Tempe Town Lake. And then I'm going to do a loop where I come back on a different course. A lot of this is going to be taking place along Western Power Line Road. You see the power lines over here to the upper left. And then it also parallels Western Canal, running east to west through the valley. And then on my way back, we'll come back through another canal system, another canal road. Part of the route will also take place on the main roads. So Apple Maps is telling me it's about 21 miles up to Tempe Town Lake one way, and then about 22 miles on the way back. So somewhere around 42, 43 miles. I'm pretty sure we're going to get that, but that's the only planned route I have. And then depending on the battery, and we may continue the ride on from there. I anticipate this ride taking a minimum of 4 hours, depending on how long we last. About 2 hours to get up to Tempe Town Lake and 2 hours to get back. So along the way, I'll be popping in and out. I'll be recording different segments along the way, showing you some things, giving you some updates. At the end of the video, I'll give you an overview, a wrap-up, total mileage, average speed, fastest speed, time that we've taken for the ride, and our ending voltage. So stick around at the end for that, and thanks for coming along on the ride today. Let's get an update on the trip so far. We've come 4.7 miles, approximately 21 minutes traveled so far. Our voltage reading is 66.0 volts. So at the moment, I'm rolling along in pedal assist number 2, and we're pulling 263 to 320 watts, right in that range. So we're taking it easy on the motor. That's the mission today. See how many miles we can squeeze out of these 2 batteries. This pathway that we're on today, it runs alongside, as I mentioned, Power Line Road, and then along Western Canal Road. Basically the same road, but it's a mixture of dirt pathway and some concrete pathways. There's going to be very little elevation change along this entire route. It's virtually flat, just a total range of about 400 feet. So ideal conditions, temperature's just right, flat level ground. This should be a good true test of just how far these batteries will get you on this wire cruiser. And to give you a baseline, I'm 6'5" and 260 pounds. Most folks are going to be smaller than me and not as much of a drain on these batteries with the weight at 260 pounds. And this bike has such an upright riding position that I'm also blocking a lot of wind, so there's a lot of resistance. So chances are that if you weigh less than me and you're not as tall as me, you're going to get much better mileage out of this bike. My expectation for today's ride is a minimum of 70 miles of range out of these two batteries. If we can get anything beyond that, will be great. That's the range I think that my longest ride would be. I'm not sure that I'd want to be out over 70 miles on one given ride on the bike. Getting ready to go up an overpass that's kind of steep. Could be a challenge in this class 2 setting. Thank you. Oh yeah, I better take this gear down. Okay, right now we're pulling 329 watts. Seem to be kind of stuck at that. I'm in pedal assist 2. So we made it. I'm in gear 2. Now we get to go downhill. My favorite part, we could test out these 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes on this bike. That was probably the steepest hill we're going to climb today. Still in pedal assist 2. Let's go up to 4th gear. What are we doing? 17 miles an hour on the display, 16 on the GPS. So I'm not sure why this happened, but just before I turned the recording back on, camera back on, I was receiving a shock through both of the handlebar grips. I've never had that happen before. I'm not sure why that's doing that. A little concerning because it's wasn't a huge shock, but it was definitely a bit of a sting to it. So I have to keep my eye on that. It's not doing it right now. So let's check back in on our ride. Voltage is at 65.8%, down from 67.2, that's 100%. Come 35 minutes on the ride so far and 8.1 miles. Motor temperature in the upper left is 125. Shouldn't be a problem today with leaving this bike in class 2 with motor temperatures. I have had issues with that in some previous videos where I was actually doing a bit of a temperature torture test in a previous video, and I did a 5 things video recently that I actually maxed out the temperature at 355 degrees on the motor going up this long hill. It started flashing red at me, and the bike, it didn't shut down, but I think it was about ready to. It's got a safety factor built into the controller. It'll shut itself down before it burns out. So I pulled over to the side and let it cool down for about 15 to 20 minutes, and then the rest of the ride I took it a little more easy on the motor. Okay, so we're going to do a full throttle test, see how many watts it pulls off the line in class 2 only. I'm only in pedal assist 2, so let's crank this up to 5. That'll give us our full range. That'll give us our full power in pedal assist 5 off the throttle. So we'll look at our wattage and see what we can get up to. Ready, go. 1,000. I saw 1,087 watts. Okay, it's 921 down to 855 right now. So class 2 pedal assist 5, you can pull 1,000 watts. I'll go ahead and crank it back down to 2. So not bad. And just to give you an idea, this is a 1,500 watt nominal motor that peaks at over 3,200 watts. It's a very powerful motor. It's a rear hub drive, 153 Newton meters of torque. I never ride this bike in class 2. I'll be honest. I bought this bike for the speed. I bought it for the adrenaline. But like I said, I've had a few comments that ask what a real range test would be just using class 2 speeds, because not everybody's going to use this in the unlocked position like I do. So that's what this test is all about today. So that is something I've been curious about, is in class 2 mode on the highest pedal assist, what would the wattage draw be on in class 2? So it looked like 1,087 watts of peak power in class 2 versus I've seen this bike in the unlocked unrestricted condition peak at 3,280 watts. That's about the highest I've seen it go to. So 3 times the amount of watts this bike will pull if you unlock it. And if I'm honest, this is going to be a big challenge for me today. The only reason I'm doing this is for the subscribers and the viewers that have left the comments asking for a class 2 range test. So this is something you might be interested in. In the settings, in the advanced settings, there's the throttle follow function that you can set. Now, if you unlock this bike and you say class 2 no, which means it's unrestricted, you can set your throttle follow to fully open. So you got full throttle available to you at any time. It's not dependent on your pedal assist. So in class 2, you don't have that functionality. If you put it in class 2, the throttle follow functions will follow your pedal assist, and you cannot undo that. That was something I found out recently that I wasn't aware of. I was curious. I need to make sure that if I ever ride in class 2 mode, that if I want to get across an intersection a little quicker, I got to put this thing up to pedal assist 5. Like I say, I don't really ride it in class 2, but sometimes my wife will ride it, and I put it in class 2 mode for her. Yeah, just a fun fact there. You might want to know if you want to keep it in class 2. Just if you need to get across an intersection a little quicker for safety reasons, just kick it up to pedal assist 5 and hit that throttle, and that'll get you across there a little quicker. Or do like I do and leave it unlocked all the time and unrestricted, and just have that full 3,200 watts available at your wrist to take off and get you through an intersection. It's really is a safety feature, I think. Okay, let's check in. So we're doing on a ride 65.6 volts, 45 minutes on the ride so far, and we've come 10.6 miles. So maybe about 25% of the way back to our original starting point in our loop we've got planned for today. So when you're in class 2 mode, you've got pedal assist 1 through 5, and the way these are rated is you get 20% of the motor power in 1. Pedal assist 1, you get 40% in pedal assist 2, 60% in pedal assist 3, 80% pedal assist 4, and 100% in pedal assist 5. So we'll leave it on 1. We're going to do a throttle only test. We'll see what this gets up to speed-wise. It's a very slow start. I'm not going to pedal up to 8 miles an hour, 8.6, 9, right about 10 miles an hour, 10 and a half. Still creeping up, 11, 12, looks like 13.7 is the max. Let's kick it up to pedal assist 2. We'll see what additional power that gives us. Yeah, 14, it's really not kicking us up much. We're on flat level ground as well. 14.6, it's very steady climb. It's 15. So this is only going to get up to a maximum of 20 miles an hour on throttle in class 2. So 15.7, let's go up to pedal assist 3, see what that'll get us up to. 16, 16.5, 17, yeah, right around 17. Let's go up to pedal assist 4, 17.7, yeah, right around 17.8. Let's go up to pedal assist 5, see if that kicks us up to 20. Yes, it does. So I got up to 22 miles an hour and I felt the motor cut off. So it's regulating itself right now. Motor just kicked back on at 19.6. Now it's maintaining a steady 20 miles an hour. So that's all you're going to get, and I'm full throttle. I'll go ahead and release it. And we'll crank it back down to pedal assist 2. So it does follow the class 2 setting for 20 miles an hour on throttle. So you can see the sign over here. We're entering Chandler, Arizona from Gilbert. And we'll head towards Tempe to the west, directly in front of us. Way off in the distance there, you see South Mountain Range. So I did a video up there previously. It's about 1,000 foot of elevation change from the parking lot up to the top of the mountain. So it's a good test for the motor, and see if it can handle those steeper grades. And this bike had no problem in fully unlocked mode. Let's get a check-in on our ride. So we are down to 65.5 volts from 67.2. So we're still doing pretty well on our battery usage right now. We've come 13.2 miles and 55 minutes on the ride so far. We're in pedal assist 2. Average speed so far looks like it's been just under 14 miles an hour. You can see the max speed there on the GPS on the bottom middle right side. It says max 22 miles an hour. That may be the best we do during today's ride. That's full throttle on pedal assist 5. For the most part, I'm going to try to keep it on pedal assist 2, where we're at right now, and maybe 4th gear. Maybe bounce back and forth, 3rd to 5th gear. But I'll try to maintain class 2, because I can maintain about 15 to 18 miles an hour normally. So quite a few people out enjoying the beautiful weather today, just like me. Let me pull over here and show you some features. I really like this new design, and this kind of swept back and down frame design looks really clean. And this time around they integrated the 20 amp hour battery into the frame, so it gets hidden. So I really like that aesthetic. See the back 15 amp hour 60 volt battery. That's where it sits in the cradle, is right here. The 60 volt 45 amp controller, it's down here in this crank housing. You could take these bolts off if you want. This is the rear suspension here, this D&M air shock. See here. So it's got 3 settings. This is the softest setting to the left. Straight down is medium. A little harder setting over to the right. I keep mine right there on the softest. And this is where you put air in this shock. You just take this cap off right here, and you put air with a high pressure pump. Your regular air pump won't work. So you need to get a special pump. You can get it for $20, $30 on Amazon. And on your RST guide forks up here in the front, you have some subtle adjustments here. I think there's, I want to say 8 or 9 little minor clicks that you can do. So I just leave mine set in the middle. And then if you want, you can lock it out. So if you're transporting the bike, you can lock it right there so the shocks don't bounce and maybe work loose out of the bike rack on the back of your vehicle. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, love this front headlight here. 180 lux. I think this is, not 100% sure. I think this is an upgraded light from the last model. Really bright at night. Now you do have a brake light in the back here that is also a tail light. Class 2. This is the one that you're going to want to change. If you do want to set it in Class 2, that's the way it's going to ship to you. It's going to ship to you like this. It's going to say yes. So if you hit that, then all these other settings, speed limits, power assist levels, it's only going to kick you up to 20 miles an hour. Yeah, these are the 203 millimeter rotors on the back. Same thing on the front. These are the Gemma 4-piston brakes. They made this back axle here a little bit longer, about a ½ inch, so you can put a trailer on here if you want. If you want to haul something, you can do that. You have that option. Very sturdy rear rack. Holds up to 50 pounds. The bike in total with both batteries in it, if you don't put anything else on it, weighs 105 pounds, so it's quite heavy. Now you can charge the bike either with the battery packs on the bike or with them off. So a lot of times I'll pull the batteries both out of the bike and take them inside my house because it's very hot here. A port in the back here that you can see. You can plug that in, like I said, on the bike, or you can actually slide this out with a key that goes in here. And then you've got a different key for your front battery that goes in here, a little bit bigger key. You have to turn that, and then you've got a mechanism here you have to push up before this battery will slide out. I'd also recommend that you turn your wheel so the battery clears the fender. It's still a little tight, but you can get it out if you want. Of course, you could do it the easy way and just charge the bike or the battery pack here. There's the port if you don't want to mess with all that weight. This thing weighs about a little over 12 pounds. Rear rack battery weighs about 10 pounds. It comes with 2 separate 3-amp chargers. And the chargers also have fans in them, so to help cool the charger itself down as it's running, which, yeah, it takes about, let's see, 3 divided by 20 amp hours. That's about 6 hours, a little over 6 hours to charge if you fully drain it. So yeah, I think those are the highlights. So we'll go ahead and get back out on the road. Oh, pretty soon we're going to be making a right and heading north towards Arizona State University campus and Tempe Town Lake. Let's get another check-in on the ride. 65.4 volts. Just sipping at that battery, which is excellent. Just exactly what I wanted to see. 1 hour exactly on the ride so far, 14.7 miles. This is where we're going to make a right. And we are going to head out on the main road and use the bike paths. Now, normally when I come out on the main road like this, I have this bike unlocked. Like I said, that's how I ride it normally. I can nearly keep up with traffic, 35 miles an hour pretty consistently. It's not as much in the way. And this is the main reason why I use mirrors, is when I'm on main roads like this and you've got high-speed traffic around you, you can keep an eye on who's coming up behind you pretty well. One of the issues that you find in some of these bike lanes in big cities like Phoenix, the Phoenix area, is you get clutter that builds up on the bike path on the right side of these roadways. So you really got to keep an eye out when you're traveling here for larger objects that's fallen off of people's vehicles, or sharp objects, or little branches, or could be anything, but you really got to be aware. Okay, so I'm still in pedal assist 2. You see I reached 20 miles an hour. I felt the motor cut out. I don't have any throttle usage right now. It's just all pedal assist 2 and pedaling, but it is trying to control my speed. Let's see if I try to pedal harder, if it will let me. Actually, it's restricting me. I'm pumping my legs hard, and it is not letting me go out of class 2, out of 20 miles an hour. That's surprising. I've not tried that before. So unfortunately, I ran out of bike lane. So for safety reasons, I hopped up on the sidewalk. Now becomes a bit of an obstacle course. As I duck and dodge traffic here riding on the sidewalk in Tempe, trying to stay out of the main lanes of traffic because there's no bike lane, let's go ahead and get another check on our ride. We're at 65.4 volts still doing great on battery usage. We are 18.5 miles into the ride and 1 hour and 16 minutes. So I switched camera views to the Insta360. Give you some different views. We're coming up alongside the ASU campus. So I picked a bad day to come by ASU. There's a football game getting ready to start. Not sure who the Sun Devils are playing today, but their stadium's over there to the left. I see BYU fans. That must be who they're playing today. See the stands off in the distance. While we're waiting for the light to change, get a quick check on our ride. 65.4 volts. Still doing well on our voltage. We've come 20 miles so far in 1 hour and 26 minutes. Well, we've made it to Tempe Town Lake. 20.2 miles from home, one way. So this is an example of what happens when you're out filming and you're trying to narrate as you go, and all of a sudden you look down and the camera's not on. So, oh crap, battery died, so I had to stop, change out the battery, and I lost about, well, by the time I realized that my battery was dead, I was over there to the right underneath that underpass in the shade, so all the way around Tempe Town Lake. So I'm going to come around and start it all over again. Sorry about that. We'll get started. This is what happens when you decide to do YouTube videos. Yeah, it's all part of the experience. So as you can see right up above, we are very close to Sky Harbor Airport here in Phoenix. Where we're at right now, it's on the border between Tempe and Phoenix in the ASU area. So we've got some corporate headquarter buildings that are along Tempe Town Lake. State Farm is here, Carvana is here, KPMG, the financial firm, is here, and a few others. Now normally on a day like today, as beautiful as it is, about 78 degrees right now, this place will be packed. But we know why it's not packed today, because the ASU BYU game going on. I'm going to say these buildings on the left, you see a lot of scooters around that you can just pick up and rent. Some paddle boaters out there. So we're coming up on the old Tempe Mill Avenue Bridge, right up in front of us. These scooters that you can rent, four-wheel bicycles, paddle boats, all kinds of ways to entertain yourself. Now, when I first moved to Arizona back in 1974 from Indiana, that Mill Avenue Bridge and the railroad bridge right beside it was the only way to get across the Salt River, which is Tempe Town Lake is dammed up. It's fed by the Salt River. But before it used to flood during the rainy season quite often and made quite a bit of damage. So they decided to dam it up and control that. But for years, that was the only way across the Salt River into Tempe for miles was Mill Avenue Bridge. So up ahead, we got a pedestrian bridge that crosses over to the other side. We'll take that. So quite often you'll see rowers out here. There's quite a few competitions on Tempe Town Lake for rowing. So we might see some more of them out here. We saw some a little bit earlier. So because we had to backtrack a couple of miles, let's get a quick overview on where we're at on our ride. 64.5 volts. at a 67.2. So we're still doing really well, about maybe 80% on the battery, a little bit better, 85. Rides, so far it's been an hour and 50 minutes long, and we've come 25.5 miles. That's the old railroad bridge right on top of us. About a quarter mile, we'll be coming up on my initial endpoint. Was the boat marina for the lake. So this will be our turnaround point. You can see the marina here in front of us. Not too much going on today because of the football game. These are the motorized boats, I guess you can rent. So over to our right, between those two buildings, is ASU Stadium, where they're playing the football game now. We've got some high-end condos and apartments along the lake here on this side and on the other. They're building a bunch of new ones straight ahead. You see those buildings under construction. You get a better view of those new buildings. So I've switched the camera back to chest mount and single view, and I've put a route into Apple Maps for a bike path to take us back home. So we're going to end up backtracking a little bit back by the lake and then going across the bridge. This is all the urban living restaurants and little shops down here by Tempe Town Lake. Really nice little area. Okay, make your way across the bridge. Still in pedal assist 2. 64 volts. Come 28.5 miles with a 2 hour and 6 minute duration so far. So if I don't stop, looks like we got an hour and 41 minutes to get back. We'll see where we're at the end. But at 64 volts, we're still up there around 80 to 85% on the batteries. So still doing really well. Okay, we've made our way across the bridge. Get a little closer view of the new construction of those condos. Make our way over towards the eastern side of the lake where the other part of the dam is. Paddle boarders have made their way all the way down here on the east end. Pedal assist 4. Okay, now we'll go back down to 2. So all this from here to the end is all new. Most of it's going to be new bike pathway to me. So love getting out and exploring like this, especially if you're going to do class 2 like this. I'm not going to lie, my legs are burning pretty good right now after pedaling for 30 miles. Very little throttle. I have here and there, but mostly it's been all pedaling. So this pathway looks like it parallels the old Salt River. This is not the dammed up lake portion. This is how it used to be for years. Yeah, so like I was saying, this e-biking gives you a reason to get up off the couch, go out and explore your city, your town, wherever you live, to discover places you haven't been to like this. You know, I've lived here 50 years and I've never been on this particular pathway before. Getting out on a beautiful day, exploring areas I couldn't do with a car or a motorcycle. It's a great experience. Highly recommend it if you don't have an e-bike yet or you're thinking about getting one. This is the day that you would do it. This is the perfect conditions. Here in the Valley of the Sunstroke, we have to suffer through the heat of the summer, so we can't really ride that much unless it's at night. So like I said earlier, this time of year is our payoff. This is when we get to get out and we get the beautiful weather in the winter. Everyone else starts to freeze up, gets cold, and they have to suffer through the winter. In a lot of areas, they're not even, you can't even ride your e-bike. It's either too cold or snowy or both. So there are seasons for it. Whereas here, if you want to brave it in the summertime, you can do that, or go out at night when it's a little bit cooler. Yeah, put sunglasses on. A little hard to see through here. This is cool. Come on, Zoni, get those legs pumping. You can make it. Oh, yeah. Nice. So, yeah, we get to take advantage of the winter time here, and that's the best time to ride. 365 days a year you can ride out here. So we're just crossing back over into Mesa from Tempe, heading east. What a great bike pathway. A little stream running down there still from the Salt River. I definitely got to come back out here. Let's get a check on our ride. Sitting at 63.4 volts, 31.6 miles so far, 2 hours and 18 minutes on the ride, and we're currently pulling 316 watts. Looks like we got 17 miles to make it home. So I wanted to take a minute halfway through the ride and thank those of you who have subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate it. Yeah, it means a lot. I love doing these videos, and I hope it's helpful for everyone who watches them. Hope they get something out of it. The reason I started doing these is, like most other people on the planet, I watch a lot of YouTube, and it's been my go-to for years to learn how to do things that I didn't know how to do, or fix something I didn't know how to fix. And I thought this was kind of my opportunity to take something that I love doing, which is riding these e-bikes, and if I can, teach some people some things about them, show you some things you might not have known, maybe show you some sights, some scenic areas along the way. I'm doing 16 miles an hour. I got this thing on full throttle. How easy would it be? Normally, I would just have this thing unlocked. I'd be going 35 miles an hour down this road and getting a little adrenaline rush and get home a lot quicker, but that's not the purpose of the video, so this is what I do for my viewers. I'm going to slow roll it, and we're going to milk every bit of juice out of these batteries we can milk. And I'm still in class 2. We'll go ahead and get an update on the ride. We are down to 63 volts, so probably about 65% on the batteries. 34.5 miles traveled so far, and 2 hours and 30 minutes into the ride. So just doing the quick math, if we're at about 65%, we've come 35 miles. Theoretically, we should be able to reach that 70-mile marker that I was hoping to get at a minimum. Now the battery readout on these bikes aren't exactly the most accurate. The most accurate way of reading them is supposedly reading them by the voltage, which is why I'm doing this way today. If we are at 65%, hey, maybe we can even make it up to 80 miles. If we could do that, that would be pretty impressive for someone of my weight. We're still in the city of Mesa, making our way back to Gilbert. We've got 11 miles left to go to get back home. Currently, we are pulling, see, throttle only, pedal assist 2, only 312 watts out of 1,500 watts on this motor, this big powerful motor. So just a fifth of the power that this motor can put out in class 2 at 17 miles an hour. So let's get a check on our ride. We just crossed over the 40-mile mark. We're at 40.2 miles. 2 hours, 54 minutes into the ride. And we have 62.1 volts left on the battery. So roughly 55 to 60% left. Still doing good. Looks like we got 8.9 miles left to go before we reach home. Well, my battery died on me for the camera yesterday on the way back home. It was about 4 miles from my house, and so we're going to pick it up today. I did not charge these batteries overnight. We are setting at 61 volts even, and you see so far we've completed 49.4 miles, and the trip has lasted 3 hours and 33 minutes of ride time. So we'll pick it up on day 2 and we'll get started. So for today's ride, I thought we would go somewhere different, choose a different route. So we've got just under 61 volts left, and halfway, 50% on the 2 batteries is 58.5 volts roughly. So we're just a little bit over 50%. So the first 45% that we used of the battery, we went 49.7 miles. So just doing the math on that, we're going to go out to Rawhide Old West Town. So it's about 19 miles away one way, and then when we get out there, we'll see what our battery looks like and what our how many miles we've put on. That's the plan for today. Should be fun. Another beautiful day here in Arizona. Let's get started. So I got to be honest, I think the bike beat me yesterday. I've never ridden 49.5 miles in one day, but it was really good exercise. I'm glad I did it. When I got up this morning, I thought, all right, everything's not feeling great. We're on a mission. We got to get out of here and get this long range test done in class 2. Finish it up today. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to push through it. We've made our way back onto the consolidated canal path that we were on yesterday for quite a few miles. So I pulled over here for just a second to do a quick water break. So we'll get a check on the ride. We're almost at the theoretical 50% mark. 50% left on the battery. That will be 58.5 volts. We're sitting at 58.9. Let's see, so far we've come 60.6 miles in total, and 4 hours and 18 minutes on the ride so far. You can also see up here we've got 4 battery bars normally in the display. So we're sitting at about 2 bars left, so it kind of matches the theoretical 50%. I know these things aren't super accurate, but I think at least we're in the ballpark. So this bike is has a cadence sensor on it instead of a torque sensor. So a cadence sensor, all you really need to do is rotate the pedals. It doesn't take any real force to provide power to the bike, so just got to rotate the pedal. So it's a little easier on you if you don't want to pedal a great deal and put a lot of force into it, versus a torque sensor where you do have to apply pressure to the pedals. The more pressure you apply, the faster you go. Depends on which camp you're in, whether you like torque sensors or cadence sensors. Torque sensors are popular because it gives you more of a natural feel of what it's like to ride a regular bike. But cadence sensor is a little easier on the rider. A lot of the cadence sensor bikes are speed-based, so it doesn't matter how much pressure you put on the pedals. If you're in pedal assist 1, it's going to drag you up to say 8 or 9 miles an hour, and that's going to be the top end of it. And then it'll go up from there. But what Wired did with this particular cadence sensor is they made it power-based. So it's a percentage of the motor is what you get at each level of powers of pedal assist. It gives you somewhere between, the way I would describe it, it gives you more of a in-between feel between a cadence sensor and a torque sensor. So I like this system better. You can get better pedal feel with this particular type. So we're still in Chandler, but we've now moved into, crossed over into the Gila Indian Reservation. So you'll see not near as much development out here as we make our way over towards Rawhide Old West Town. So it looks like we are about 2.6 miles from our destination. Let's get a quick ride check. We are at 57.8 volts. Still looking good. 66.1 miles traveled so far, and a total ride time of 4 hours 41 minutes. We're still on the Gila Indian Reservation. Well, it looks like Rawhide is closed down for some reason. I wasn't aware. Big empty parking lot. No signs telling you why it's closed. Well, if we get a check on our ride at the end point, we started off at 49.9 miles, I believe, and we are at 69.7 miles. So just about 20 miles one way. Our battery's still at 57.3 volts, which means we're just under 50%, barely. And we been on riding for 4 hours 56 minutes between yesterday and today. So as we pass by Gila Indian River Casino, we're gonna meander our way back home. So as we leave Gila Indian Reservation and head back up into Chandler, pass by one more casino, Gila River Casino at Iron Butte. I've noticed our voltage has dropped a little bit erratically. It's down to 55.9. So a little bit of a concern. So I'm, about 16 miles away from home. Hopefully don't run out of juice before I get there. Right now, 55.9 volts. 5 hours, 19 minutes so far, total ride time, and 75.8 miles. So we did make our my goal of at least 70 miles. So we made that. That'll be no problem. 80 won't be a problem either. We should, if we're at 16 miles home, we should be, right around just a little above 90 if we make it there all the way. 90 would be great. So we just dropped down to one battery bar left. So is range anxiety starting to creep in? A little bit, yeah. I wondered if I miscalculated again for the second time in a row on one of these range tests. But I do have a backup plan if that's what I did. So I'm 10 miles away from my house. And we're showing 55.5 volts, and at 48.2 is 0% left on the battery. Should be okay since we've gotten 78.1 miles so far out of the full charge on both these batteries. Famous last words. Let's see if I end up pushing this thing or not. Let's check in on our ride. We're down to 54.6 volts. Still in pedal assist 2. Grinding along. We're at 82 miles even and 5 hours 42 minutes on the total ride between yesterday and today. And I've got 6.4 miles left to get home. One thing's becoming clear to me is that I suck at range calculation. Oh man, I hope I don't have to ride this bike and with no motor assistance again. So I think we're going to be okay, he says, hopefully. Get a check on the ride. We're still at one bar left, one battery bar left, 52.8 volts. Okay, we've come 85.1 miles. Been on the ride for a total of 5 hours and 53 minutes. And we've got 3.4 miles left to go. Oh no! There's the dreaded red flashing battery bar. 52.1 volts left. This can't be good. 86.1 miles into the ride, almost 6 hours. And we've got 2.4 miles left. This can't be good. Now I don't have any red flashing battery bars. I have 0 bars. 51.9 volts. I'm still 1.8 miles from my house. Oh, tell me I didn't do it again. Here's one of the main takeaways from this ride over the last 2 days. Don't trust your battery system, whether it's percentage or whether it's voltage. I tell you, that last 30%, when you get down to that on the battery, it's really wonky and not very trustworthy. We're still getting 207 watts. I'm still getting motor assistance. I have zero battery bars left, 87.1 miles, and I'm 1.5 miles from my house. We'll keep going as long as it gives us juice. Maybe if I slow down, my battery bar will come back again. Nope, not happening. Oh, just saw 0 watts flash. That can't be good either. Oh, man. Come on, don't give out on me now. Yeah, it's still flashing, going between 206 and 0. Let's see, it's going to go back down. It's still giving me assistance. 1.1 miles left, 256 watts. I still got 0 left on the battery bar, nothing. Just flashing blue. 51.3 volts. Okay, 0.7 miles. Well, at least if I lose power here, I've only got 0.7 miles to go. That beat my last range test where I ran out of juice with with a mile to go. I think the battery gods might be shining down on me today. Let's see what our average was. Average speed over the trip was 15.5 miles an hour. Fastest speed was 22.3 miles an hour. Must have been on a little downhill yesterday. Okay, so I made it home, and I really would like to see if I could squeeze 90 miles out of this thing. It's 88.9. So we've got 1 mile left to roam around the neighborhood and see if we can hit 90. That's a nice number. Very happy with the results of this long range test in class 2 mode only. Wow, 90 miles. If we can get to that, awesome. So imagine your use case. If you have a bike like this, or if you have a wired bike, both of them, the Freedom and the Cruiser, are the same weight, same power, same everything really. Kind of gives you an idea of what kind of range you can expect. What I didn't mention is that I'm 64 years old, so not exactly young and spry. And I've just ridden a e-bike for 89.3 miles. At my age, I think that's pretty good. I'm not in the best of shape, but I'm trying to get better. And this is a really good way to get better, in my opinion. And yeah, if you're watching this video, it could be your opinion as well. I know the majority of the people, the demographics that watch my videos, are 55 to 64, and they're men. So pretty much right there where I am. We all got a few aches and pains. Everything seems to hurt more than it should. But still, we get up and we try. We got to get up out of that chair. We got to get motivated, find a reason. And I have found my reason here. I love these e-bikes. They're so much fun. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you. I am not leaving this bike in Class 2. And if you plan on using it in Class 2 only, you are going to get some incredible range. So, like I said, 260 pounds, 6'5". If you're below that, which most people on this planet are, you're going to get much better than 90 miles out of your ride. It's still giving me power. It's down to 151 watts, but it's still giving me something. I can feel it slipping though. 89.7 miles. Come on, 3/10. We can do that. So my hope is that the videos like this help motivate some folks out there that are looking to get a little bit more exercise, get out of the house more. So I don't know if you can hear that motor. I'm going to twist the throttle. It is still giving me a little bit. We just crossed over 90 miles. Yes, we did it. So I think this is a perfect place to wrap up this video. Final number is 50.7 volts. We've got no bars left. 90.0 miles traveled. 6 hours and 15 minutes of total ride time between yesterday and today. I really appreciate you coming along with me on this journey. I think the bike beat me, if I'm honest. I got to admit that. I got to admit when I am beaten, I think it did beat me. But to get 90 miles out of this bike with someone of my size, Class 2 only. If you leave your bike in Class 2 and you buy this bike, you're going to do so much better than 90 miles. You're going to be happy with the range on these two batteries. So again, really appreciate you joining me on the ride. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. And I really appreciate it if you got anything out of the video, if you could hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, take care.